But Cam went through a lot. You know, he got shot over that role in Washington. Yeah, that was over that.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's never told this story, but like it was times I didn't really realize what happened. He was like, I was asking him to do another role once. He was like, yo, bro, I got shot over, because it was a certain scene that he was like, I don't want to do that scene. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, it's going to be too much. So almost, when I found out that, I felt a little responsible, and I never wanted to put anybody in that position again.
Lord, forgive him. I want to believe in you, like you believe in me.
Rock with me. So I started my YouTube doing car content, speaking to like 3 people. And then I started doing on-site locations in DC based around information provided by Alpo in a Feds interview. He gave specific location where things happen at in DC. I thought it would be dope to document these areas for people who were not from DC to sort of connect the dots, and no one was covering that here in this area. I thought my channel would gain a lot of out-of-town support. Never in a million years did I think I would attract people from the area. My thing was paint a picture for people from other parts of the country, because I knew the online interest around Pop, Alpo, Rayfu, and the rest of them guys. I had no intentions of venturing outside of the 80s era as far as making videos. And truthfully, I missed that conversation, man. And to me, there's so much left out. Like the locations where they left Gary body at, the locations where Alpo was shot at. There's plenty of different videos, man, that I haven't covered surrounding the topic of those guys. But also, I've done a lot more. And now I'm taking it back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s, working directly with infamous DC street guys like Nayball, who were connected in the streets and had their own story. Crazy how things work out. But anyways, getting straight to it, man. So I saw the Troyreed interview he did with Hassan Campbell. And I read his book. And I thought the video was necessary. Troyreed, a legendary content creator, the original OG when it comes to this street/urban content, and a man that I admire because of his ability to not show emotions in the world of journalism. He's strictly about the art form. That's the online presence that I myself would like to have moving forward. It's less stressful. But he wrote a book titled, I Never Met Alpo. Albert served 24 years in prison, but Alpo killed him in 6. That book was sort of like his closure, his farewell to a man that he spent years documenting. It covers Alpo's life while he was serving time in prison to being released, and the moments leading up to his death in New York. Troy's work ethic is solidified. He stayed with him the whole time, visiting different prisons for 10 years, and anyone hating on that's in the content creator world gotta be jealous or don't understand the grind. But just as the earth is protected by the ozone layer, in the content world, your right to voice your opinion are protected by the Freedom of Speech Act, so it is what it is. So in this interview with Hassan Campbell, Troy said that the Alpo he was going to visit in prison was very remorseful and was deeply into reading the Bible scriptures. He said there were no signs of Alpo the character at that point. And it seems as if Troy was confused about that, but it's more common than you think. You see, in prison, a man has nothing but time to think, time to reflect on the past. And many guys read the Bible and speak about not going back to the life of crime, but then get out and go right back to who they were. Typically, you see it with younger guys though, not those Alpo age. But the thing about Alpo was, a movie was made. He was glorified by many. So by the time he got out of prison and settled in up in Maine, he got that itch. And you know what happened, when you get that itch, you gotta scratch it. So according to Alpo, he told Troyreed they gave him a $20,000 stipend to furnish his apartment in Maine. And by they, I mean the Witness Protection Program officials. $20K and also an additional $2,500 a month allowance for 12 months. Now obviously that was because of who Alpo was and who he helped take down. Damn. All right, so let's do some quick math. Like I say, $20,000 stipend. Then you got 2,500 times 12, which is 30,000. Plus that $20,000, that's 50K, man. He put Wayne away forever for his freedom, a new identity, and $50,000. Now, Troy said Alpo's first time back in New York, some young guys spotted him, and Alpo was infatuated with the fact that the young guys didn't care about him being an informant. They only cared about the street legend that was created by public perception based on word of mouth and a movie paid in full. Troy said Alpo was a loner and never really liked being locked into one set of friends. And to be honest, man, I know guys like that. Guys like that who are friends with people based upon what you can do for them. And once you are no longer beneficial to them, they kick you right to the back of the bus with the associates. Yeah. The one thing that didn't sit right with me in regards to Alpo was how he dismissed Troyreed's advice about not roaming around Harlem because Rich's sister was living in Harlem, and he didn't think it would be fair for the man that murdered her brother to be posted up on blocks in Harlem. Alpo took offense to that and said, "I'm not bothering nobody, and I'm just trying to live my best life." As if he couldn't live his best life in Brooklyn, or Bronx, or Maine. He literally said, "I'm not thinking about them," when in fact he should have been thinking about them. Them meaning Pat Porter and the rest of the family. That was a selfish statement for a man in his 50s. Showing up on the block she lived on was also a total disregard for the family. Him saying, "I'm not thinking about them," says, F your feelings, I'm here and I ain't going nowhere. Another thing about Alpo and Troy that I wanted to address or speak about, which is one of the most controversial things that happened online, the leaked video of Alpo showing the location where he killed Rich Porter. It was a part of a documentary that they were doing, but it was leaked because the video sharing file was not set to private, and then it went viral. As someone who is involved in online journalism and a content creator that comes from the lineage of Troyreed, I totally understand how upset they both were about the leak. But everyone acted as if it was the worst thing that could have happened. Don't judge me, but meanwhile, I was sitting at my computer watching the clip thinking, this is interesting. But I understand the family of Rich being upset. I just didn't get the YouTube community acting as if they didn't want to look at the video. People were saying one thing, but watching it twice and even 3 times. Whereas I was just brutally honest out the gate because I know seeing the locations where certain things took place is not only interesting, but necessary from a documentation aspect. It's about getting the facts straight and telling history. Every culture does it. Have you ever heard of the real Jim Jones, the cult leader? The one that's responsible for taking out all them people? So you guys can Google him if you don't know who that is. Jim Jones, the cult leader, who's responsible for making them people drink that poisonous drink, killed 1,000 people. It was like 1,000 people. Do you know that there's a video where 40 years later, the surviving people go back to the site where it happened at, and that video got like 3 million views. That goes to show you how important it is, man, to document these things, man. A lot of people do it for closure. A lot of people do it for documentation reasons. Like, there's different reasons why people do it, but it's necessary. We are visual creatures. A TV beats a radio all day. Even on YouTube with me doing on-site videos in and around DC, these videos will live on after us. And if there's any curious people of the future who want to know about the past, they will be able to type it in and see it. All we had at one point were books. So me understanding all of this is the reason why I can appreciate the truth being shown. Even when it is a raw, uncut clip of a touchy subject, the truth is necessary. You see what the end result was for Alpo. He told on Wayneperry, he did his thing in New York, he did his thing in DC. Nobody can take that away from him. He went away. In the book, Troyreed spoke about Alpo being sad that he had to tell on Wayne. Apparently, he was real cool with Wayne. So for everybody who says, Man, he wasn't from DC. He ain't really know them people like that. Listen, when you get tight with somebody, you get tight with them. It don't matter where y'all from. It don't matter if he's from the other side of the world. When you get cool and become like family, you're like family. He was like family to Wayne, and I don't think he would have denied that. So I don't want to hear that he wasn't really from here. And some people try to give that snitching thing a pass because he didn't tell on anybody in New York. But there are some real serious New York people that, like, yeah, we don't tolerate that. Kevin Childs, I believe, was one of them who spoke up and said he didn't tolerate that. I'm not going to judge him so much on that anymore. Only thing I could say is I just felt like it wasn't the right move to snitch. But who am I, right? I haven't been in them shoes. So I'm just giving my opinion. He told on Wayne, and he was still in communication with Wayne after he was arrested, after he've already agreed to testify. You know, it was in the book, and I believe it because Troy came with some receipts. Some of the things he was saying in there was pictures attached with it, so I can believe that. But like I said, the end result of his reckless behavior as far as going back into Harlem and trying to become the old Alpo again was he got murdered. And that's typically what happened when you live a life out there in the streets, man. A lot of people get murdered, go away to prison forever, and that's all you got really to look forward to. Nowadays, it's way easier to get a job. You could create a platform. You can do whatever you want to do in today's time. So to anybody that may be watching, this is not a video to glorify the streets. This is not a video to actually dog Alpo, because I mean, at the end of the day, he was still a man. I just disagree with a lot of things, one of which going back to Harlem and disrespecting the people's family. As far as going back to the community, I felt like that wasn't right. But that's just my opinion. Y'all get in the comments, let me know what y'all think. If you're not subscribed to the channel, check out some of the past videos, and if you like it, go ahead and subscribe. Share the video to other people, man. Night Rider 707, aka Jay, aka DMV's Raw Hellcat driver, peddling nothing but that digital dope in the form of street content, man. We out of here.